Welcome aboard the Culture Station. My name is Vince. Let's see what we find out there today.
Jonathan, just walk away.
Yeah, Jonathan. Walk away.
What's going on, guys? Hope you're having a good one. Anyone who's at any point been a fan of the Aquaman movie and has been looking forward to Aquaman 2 has probably already known that ever since James Gunn got hired on by DC to run the DC universe, Aquaman's probably not gonna be related to his universe once he gets started. The films that released between the time he got hired on and the time his first movies start coming out, so that I believe that would be all of Black Adam, Shazam 2, Flash, and now Aquaman 2, aren't going to be part of his universe going forward. But he hadn't actually said that for sure, and so I'm sure there were some people out there still holding out hope. But he made sure to go out and squash that hope in a new interview he gave. So let's look at it. Bounding into comics reports, James Gunn kills Aquaman in the Lost Kingdom in its cradle by declaring nothing is canon until Creature Commandos. DC Studios CEO James Gunn decided to abort James Wan's upcoming Aquaman in the Lost Kingdom film by declaring no DC properties until Creature Commandos will be canon. Gunn recently made his declaration in response to a confused Thread user who asked, "You said DC Studio movies and canon start with Superman Legacy. I and many others are still confused. Are the returning actors playing new versions of the same characters? Is this a J.K. Simmons as J. Jonah situation?" The Superman Legacy director responded, "Nothing is canon until Creature Commandos next year, a sort of aperitif to the DCU, and then a deeper dive into the universe of Superman Legacy after that." He added, "It's a very human drive to want to understand everything all the time, but I think it's okay to be confused on what's happening in the DCU since no one has seen anything from the DCU yet." He elaborated in a follow-up post, and yes, some actors will be playing characters they've played in other stories, and some plot points might be consistent with plot points from the dozen of films, shows, and animated projects that have come from the DC in the past, but nothing is canon until CC and Legacy. Why Creature Commando? I don't get that. I get Superman. So I get restarting. I get Superman being where you restart, which is what Snyder started with. And from what the reports I've been reading lately, apparently he wanted to do another Superman movie, a couple of Batman movies, and a couple of Wonder Woman movies before there was a team up, but it was a studio that forced it. And that would be the right way to do it, start with Superman. But why Creature Commando? It's so weird that he wants to start with Creature Commando. That choice just hasn't made sense to me since he first said it. Gunn would also provide clarity regarding Blue Beetle. A user asked, "I'm wondering, how does the Blue Beetle movie factor in at this point in time? In the past, you said it was included in the new DCU, but some statements are conflicting. Will that have any relation to future projects, i.e. the Booster Gold show?" The CEO replied, Zolo Maridueña will continue playing Blue Beetle in the DCU, as Viola Davis will Amanda Waller, and John Cena will Peacemaker. So he didn't say anything about Jason playing Aquaman, and there's rumors out there that he's going to be Lobo. I think that would be pretty cool, but why did he get rid of Henry? I think that's what everybody really wants to know. He would also address another user who balked at the idea of resetting the previous DCU that began with Man of Steel. The user stated, "Seriously though, why should we invest time and effort in yet another shared universe? Just build on what's already there with slight course corrections as needed." Gunn replied, "If you think anything as invest time and effort, no matter what shared universe, you definitely shouldn't be. Every story should be enjoyed and worth partaking in and of itself, without its attachment to the outside world. If it feels like homework, screw it. Shared universes should add fun to the individual stories, not the other way around. The individual stories and characters are much more important to me than the connections between them." I get what he's saying about investing time, and it shouldn't be investing time and effort, but it kind of is when you have to watch X number of movies to understand the big movie. If you yes, you could have gone into the Avengers without watching the previous films, but there was also, by the time you got to Infinity War, Endgame, really, could you? Could you have really watched Endgame without having watched since Iron Man, since 2008, and had that relationship with these characters build with you over all these years, and then to see Tony die? Anybody that walked out of that movie theater crying, and I'll admit, they were cutting onions in the theater that day, but anybody that felt that, could that have been possible if that was the only movie you had seen and hadn't seen any of the Marvel movies leading up to it? I don't think so. So it is investing time and effort. It is investing time, at least. Maybe not effort, but time. That response opens up a whole other can of worms, namely why even create a shared universe, but let's leave that for another day. What we do get is confirmation that Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom is not pertinent to any future stories from Gunn and Safran helmed DC Universe that begins with Creature Commandos and Superman Legacy. From here, it goes on to talk about how much money all the movies lost, the Flash, Shazam, Blue Beetle. Needless to say, they've all lost a lot. And if you're Aquaman, I mean, you have to think about it. When Warner Brothers so when Aquaman 1 came out and it made over $1 billion, they greenlit Aquaman 2 immediately, and now they're looking at it. Its budget or its projected revenue probably started here, and then you had the whole situation. Now it's here, and then you have James Gunn going and getting hired and talking about resetting the universe in general here. Then you have rumors of Jason Momoa becoming Lobo here. And now you have James Gunn coming out and just straight up saying it's not part of the universe. Here, done. So this movie might have the biggest drop in box office revenue between one film to its sequel in all time, going from $1 billion to I will be surprised if this movie makes $300 million at the rate all of the DC movies have been going this year. And at the boycott Aquaman 2 hashtag that popped up on Twitter when the trailer came out because nobody liked the trailer. This movie is it's going to bomb, and James Gunn just put the final nail in the coffin. But tell me what you guys think, and I will talk to you guys next time.
Thanks for stopping by. If you like this video, make sure to like, share, and subscribe, and follow me on the X at CultureSailor1. I'll see you next time, and as always, fair winds and following seas.